Hi guys, in this video we're going to talk a bit on cross product, on the properties, and actually just one properties which is on the on this one, right? And we'll, after that we're going to go straight to the application, right? We have learned on dot product and cross product, and we're going to see where we can use it, right? So the last part of cross product here, the one that I want you to focus, there's several here, but the one that I want to focus most is this, which is the formula on finding the angle. Okay, it is almost similar with cross product, dot product, but instead of cos, it now use sin. Okay, so now let's move to the application part, right? We have several applications of cross product and dot product. However, let us start with this application, right, which is an application that talks about how to find an equations of planes. Okay, so before we proceed further, right, let's try to be clear on what does it mean by planes. I believe that most of you guys know about this, but just maybe if some of us haven't really clear about that, and we're going to talk about that. So planes here means this. We are talking about a surface in a three-dimensional situation. We don't have planes in a chart. We don't have planes in a 2D chart, right? Because it is just 2D, right? For 3D we have planes, right? We have planes. I'm going to show to you later what does it look like. If you look at this, we can say that this vector lying on the plane. It actually lay on this plane, right? So that is the plane, and what we are going to do here, we are going to find an equation of this plane. Okay, we are going to find an equation of this plane given that we know these vectors. Okay, so let's try to look at it maybe graphically to understand what does it really mean by equations of planes. Okay, now let's look at this. Okay, now if you just look at this plane, this empty chart, 3D chart, three-dimensional chart, you see that they have kind of surface here. This surface is known as plane. The plane, right? This is actually a plane for x and y axis. And if you just try to tilt it like this, you'll see you will never see the plane. If you look at this just sideways like that, but if you try to tilt it, you will see the plane. Okay, now let's take an example. Okay, what does it mean by finding an equation of a plane? Okay, meaning that you want to find an equation on for this plane, for example, such that later when we are given any value of x, y, or z, we are able to locate where is the location of that, or what is the x. If we are given y and z, we know what is the x, right? And we're able to locate it in the plane, right? Let's take one example. For example, let's say that we have this. I will just put this coordinate here, this location A here, right? 2, 3, -1 actually. This is located down here, right? So first we can say that this A is not actually sitting on this plane, the default plane here. so it has its own plane. And if we just have this one dot, okay, we don't really know how does the plane that this dot, this A seated on look like, because when we talk about plane, it will not just laying down like this, right, which is horizontally. It can be in any position within the graph. For example, as long as the plane, as long as this A here sitting on that plane. Okay, so for example, we have, let's say, okay, I just put one plane here. Okay, so this one, as you can see, even though it is, the tiltness is quite tilt, but as you can see, the A is sitting, is actually in line with that, with this plane. This is its plane, but there is not just the only plane, right? It can also have other kind of plane with different kind of tiltness. And let's try to take another one. This can also be its plane, right? It tilt a different way, but still A is on that plane. See? Sorry. Alright. We can also have another one. Let's try to look at another one. Okay, now it actually tilt this way, but A is on the plane. This is also the plane for this, for A. So I hope that you get the idea that when we want to find a plane, an equation of plane for this particular location, we have millions of possibilities, because you can have different kind of tiltness, right? Different ways, as long as this coordinate seated on that plane is to consider the plane for that. So how do we actually know which plane that we are going to look at? Okay, whether it is like this or it is like that, right? Or maybe like this. We have another way, right? Like this. So there are several possibilities. As you can see here, we have 3 planes now, and all of them is actually seated on A. A seated on them, sorry. So which one? So to know that, okay, we are going to have another information that we need to look at, which is known as a normal vector. Okay, we are going to have one vector, right, act as a normal vector. It's known as a normal vector. We're going to talk about it why. So let's say that this is the normal vector, right, pointing like that. So now we have 2 information, which is A, right, this coordinate, with this normal vector pointing out this way. So how can we know which plane that we are going to look at? By just looking at these 2 things, 2 information. Okay, so one characteristic of normal vector is that it always seated perpendicular to the plane. So wherever the normal plane is, we can safely say that when you're looking at this, we can look at the 90 degree perpendicular, right? 90 degree of that vector, and assume that, okay, the plane is actually this way, right? So by combining this information, so we want a vector, we want a plane that is perpendicular to this normal vector and also pass through A. So it should look like this. Right? You can see that we have now one plane that is come across A here. As you can see, A is on that plane, and if you compare it with the normal vector, it is actually perpendicular 90 degrees. So this is actually the plane, right, that we want to look at to find its equation. And later, when we have the equation of this plane, we can use that equation to locate, right? If you have information of x and y, we can look what is the value of z on that plane. We can try to we can be able to discover that because we have the general equation. Okay, so that is the idea of equation of plane, right? In the next video, we are going to do the hands-on, try to do the calculation. Thank you.